Welcome to Gridiron Ring, a sports talk show covering football and professional wrestling. I'm your host, the Encyclopedia of Sports, Cool Hand Luke 96. Be sure, if you haven't done so already, to like, follow, and subscribe to Gridiron Ring and myself, Cool Hand Luke 96, on social media. As always, the links are in the description below. WWE heads north across the border into Toronto, Ontario, Canada for SummerSlam weekend 2019 this upcoming weekend, August the 10th and 11th, 2019. We'll have TakeOver on Saturday night, SummerSlam on Sunday night, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown Live will also be in Toronto this upcoming Monday and Tuesday. 5 matches for TakeOver. This will be the next to last TakeOver of the year. The next one we'll have will be War Games Survivor Series weekend in Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, AEW All Out coming up on August the 31st. Come Sunday, though, for SummerSlam, we'll have 10 matches and potentially a couple more added during or after this recording, as WWE always likes to do that. They always like to add a match or two to the kickoff pre-show before the actual main card will begin for the pay-per-view. This is actually the first pay-per-view as well for the WWE since Extreme Rules, the 2019 edition of Extreme Rules, where we saw Brock Lesnar cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase over Seth frickin' Rollins. We'll have a rematch between those two at SummerSlam on Sunday. So, first pay-per-view in about a month for the WWE. That took place in Philly, middle of July the 14th, I believe it was. And that was a damn good pay-per-view. Probably the best since WrestleMania, to be honest with you. Hopefully, SummerSlam will not disappoint, though, as SummerSlam is the biggest event of the summer for the WWE. So 5 matches at NXT TakeOver Toronto, as I just mentioned, on Saturday night on the WWE Network, and then 10 as of right now for SummerSlam on Sunday. I will also be live on Periscope, Cool Hand Luke 96, doing live reactions, play-by-play of both NXT TakeOver Toronto and SummerSlam 2019 this upcoming weekend over on Periscope, so be sure to tune in. The link is in the description below. And also, I was at the Go Home show this past Monday night down in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Steel City, USA, for the Monday Night Raw, which featured the return of Goldberg. Goldberg will now be facing Dolph Ziggler this Sunday at SummerSlam. I have videos from this past week at Monday Night Raw, from being live in living color, live in attendance at PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh. So be sure to go check those videos out. They are right here on Gridiron Ring's YouTube channel. So without further ado, I will get into my predictions for NXT TakeOver Toronto and SummerSlam 2019. NXT TakeOver Toronto, Saturday, August 10th, 2019 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. 5 matches, as I just mentioned. 2 women's matches, which is somewhat surprising. It's normally 4 men and then 1 women's match. We do have 2 women's matches. One, Candice LeRae and Io Shirai. The other, Shayna Baszler and Mia Yim. I'm going to be picking LeRae and Baszler to win both of those matches. The Baszler-Yim match is for the NXT Women's Championship as well. Been hearing some rumors once again about Shayna Baszler potentially getting called up to the main roster after TakeOver, but we've been hearing that for quite a while now, so I'll believe it when I see it. This is actually the first TakeOver event as well since NXT TakeOver 25 back on June the 1st, which is where Adam Cole, Bebe, won his first NXT championship over Johnny Gargano. They will face off once again in a 2 out of 3 falls count anywhere match for the NXT championship in the main event, and I'll get to that here in a quick second. Also, though, at NXT TakeOver Toronto on Saturday, August 10th, Velveteen Dream will defend his North American Championship down in NXT versus Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong. Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era have been saying for the past couple months that in 2019 the Undisputed Era will be draped in gold. Undisputed Era Tag Team Champions Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly have already held the NXT Tag Team Championships before. They're facing off now versus the Street Profits once again for the tag team titles. I think they'll win. That'll probably be the co-main event, or one of the women's matches will be the co-main event. And then I think Roderick Strong will become NXT North American Champion, along with Adam Cole, baby, retaining his NXT Championship in the 2 out of 3 Falls Count Anywhere match versus Johnny Gargano at NXT TakeOver Toronto on Saturday. So I think after Saturday, leading into the fall, with WWE having a new Fox deal for SmackDown live on Friday nights on Fox, and then potentially NXT moving to Fox Sports 1 and being live every Wednesday night for either an hour or 2 hours to go head-to-head compete with AEW All Elite Wrestling. I think it'd be best if now was the time they draped the Undisputed Era in gold. So I'm going to pick Candice LeRae and I'm going to pick Shayna Baszler. But the other 3 matches, they all have a competitor, all have a superstar from the Undisputed Era, a member, I should say, from the Undisputed Era competing in those 3 respective matches. So I'm going to pick Roderick Strong to defeat Velveteen Dream and Pete Dunne to become North American Champion. Give me Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish to become NXT Tag Team Champions once again over the Street Profits. They could potentially use those guys, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, up on the main roster on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live. They've been on Raw the past month or 2, I'd say, but they have not wrestled one bit. They've just been doing backstage promos. And to me, it's getting a little tiring, getting a little boring. I think they need to do something with them here real quick. If WWE is out there listening, change it up a little bit. Maybe give them a match or 2, here and there in the next month or so on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. It's really just going to depend on what happens on Saturday at NXT TakeOver Toronto. But I think they'll lose, use them up on the main roster then with the Raw and SmackDown Live tag team picture. Insert them into that. By the way, there is no Raw or SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship match on Sunday at SummerSlam either. But I think Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, NXT Tag Team Champions once again. And then Adam Cole, baby, will retain his NXT Championship over Johnny Gargano once again and continue being NXT Champion moving forward. Now, they could insert Velveteen Dream, call him up to the main roster. They could insert him, though, into the NXT Championship picture. There's a whole slew of great wrestlers right now down in Orlando in NXT, so really just going to depend on what happens this weekend and then go from there to see what they will end up doing. First TV tapings, then afterward as well, and then, who knows, maybe NXT will be moving to Fox Sports 1 and will be live every Wednesday night. Only time's going to tell. We'll find out and see. But those are my predictions for NXT TakeOver Toronto this Saturday, August 10th, 2019. Now on to SummerSlam, the biggest event of the summer. Now, before I get into SummerSlam this year, there was some breaking news the other day about SummerSlam next year, 2020. SummerSlam in 2020 will be heading to the TD Garden in Boston, Mass. So SummerSlam will be, seems like to me at least, will be once again starting to move around the country and not be in one city for 2, 3, 4 years in a row. Because before they were in New York, they were out in LA for a couple years straight. Then they were in Brooklyn, New York for a couple years in a row. I believe 4, because we had NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, and then NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4 last year. And now this year, NXT TakeOver is moving north across the border into Toronto, Ontario, Canada, because that's where SummerSlam is also taking place this upcoming weekend. But SummerSlam now next year, they announced the other day, breaking news, SummerSlam 2020 in Boston, Massachusetts. SummerSlam 2019, though, this year, this upcoming weekend, SummerSlam, August the 11th, 2019, 10 matches, as I have already previously stated. I'll start off with Drew Gulak and Oney Lorcan for the Cruiserweight Championship. Lorcan became the new number one contender this past week on 205 Live. However, on Sunday at SummerSlam, Drew Gulak will retain his Cruiserweight Championship, I do believe. Women's matches up next. Becky Lynch and Natalya, Raw Women's title. It is going to be a submission match. Bayley and Ember Moon, SmackDown Live Women's Championship match. And then Trish Stratus and Charlotte Flair in a regular singles match. First of those three, I'm going to pick Becky Lynch to defeat Natalya in that submission match for the Raw Women's title. Natalya, yes, she's from Canada. They are in Canada on Sunday. Trish Stratus is also from Canada. And however, though, I do not believe either one of those two will end up winning. Becky is clearly over as the number one woman, I should say, in the WWE right now. She'll win, she'll retain, she'll make Natalya tap out more than likely to the disarmor, unless Becky comes up with some other type of submission by Sunday, because that's normally how she defeats her opponents. And then Trish announcing that this will be her final match ever. It'd be best for her to go out on top, yeah, don't get me wrong on that, but it'd be even better to get a lot of heel heat on Charlotte Flair, to have Charlotte defeat Trish on Sunday at SummerSlam in her home country of Canada. So I'm going to pick Charlotte to defeat Trish Stratus. Normally I would pick the favorite, the front runner in the match to potentially win, but however, I think it'd be best for Charlotte to defeat Trish. I mean, hell, go back to WrestleMania, everybody wanted Kurt Angle to defeat Baron Corbin. However, I said time and time again it'd be best for business, as they like to say, the WWE that is. It'd be best for business to have Baron Corbin go over Kurt Angle, because obviously Angle is not going to be there. Yeah, Angle's made a couple appearances since, most recently this past week on Monday Night Raw, got attacked by the Fiend Bray Wyatt. I have video of that from being live in attendance during the go-home show of Monday Night Raw this past week, so be sure to go check that out, plus all the other videos, as I said earlier, right here on Gridiron Ring's YouTube channel. Also be sure to subscribe. Links are in the description below for social media. But best for business to have Corbin go over Angle, because Corbin's going to be around. Yeah, Corbin's been around ever since, and he's one of the best heels in the business right now. However, he has not been seen in about a couple weeks now. Why? I don't know. They're just keeping him off TV. Maybe, he'll make a surprise appearance on Sunday at SummerSlam. Maybe next week on Raw. I honestly don't know. I don't know why they're keeping him off TV. He's one of the best heels in the business right now, as I just said. I believe it's been about 3 weeks, because they had Raw Reunion, the Little Rock, Arkansas episode of Raw 2 weeks ago, and then they were in Pittsburgh this past week, and Brock Lesnar also stood tall over Seth frickin' Rollins the past 2 weeks as well. So is that a sign that he's going to lose on Sunday? I don't know about that either. I'll get into more about that here in a second as well. But best to have Corbin go over Angle. That happened. It's going to be best for business to have Charlotte Flair go over Trish Stratus as well, I do believe, on Sunday at SummerSlam as well. So only time's going to tell, for all this stuff. These are just predictions, folks. I'm not a mind reader by any means. I'm not, an expert on, exactly what WWE does week in and week out all year long. The thing is, WWE, Vince McMahon and company, they're going to do what they want to do, whether the fans like it or not. Yes, they listen to the fans, but they are still going to move in the direction that they see fit. Look at Roman Reigns, for instance. Won the 2015 Royal Rumble when he should have won 2014. Won in 2015. Everybody hated him by that point, and then they had a hell of a time trying to get him over with the crowd, with the fans. Yes, his leukemia came back, took some time off, beat the cancer once again, which is awesome. Now he's back. Defeated Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. They've had like 10,000 rematches since. Drew McIntyre, if he has a match on Sunday at SummerSlam, it's probably going to be Cedric Alexander, which it's just pointless. Please do not add that match to the show. No, just don't. Please don't. 10 matches is fine. Yes, maybe one or two more, depending on what it is, if it makes sense storyline-wise moving forward. But McIntyre with Cedric Alexander on Monday Night Raw, I just haven't been buying it. I honestly don't like it. I don't know why, I just don't. I think McIntyre, he's a future champion. Hell, he's a former champion in the WWE and in TNA once he left and then came back. Former NXT champion as well. But we'll see what happens. But Becky Lynch will defeat Natalya. She'll get some heel heat from that as well, I think, just because Natalya is from Canada. And then Charlotte will defeat Trish, get a lot of heel heat for Charlotte Flair, though, because Charlotte's one of the best women heels in the WWE right now, just like her father was in the professional wrestling business for, probably close now to 40, 50 years. Talking about Nate himself, Woo, Ric Flair. But up next, Bayley will defend her SmackDown Live Women's Championship versus Ember Moon. And hopefully, Ember Moon can ignite the flame and become a champion up on the main roster for the first time ever. It'll be about damn time if she does. Hopefully she does. She should have won a Royal Rumble by now, but however, she has not. Ember Moon, hopefully she defeats Bayley, as Bayley's been SmackDown Live Women's Champion since Money in the Bank back in May. Charlotte facing Trish. Maybe Charlotte gets Bayley, number one contender afterwards. They end up facing, the winner of that ends up facing Ember at Clash of Champions next month in Charlotte. Maybe that's where you have Charlotte become a 9, 10-time, 11-time women's champion then at that point in the WWE. So Hell in a Cell will be early October, and then they'll have the second Saudi Arabia show on Halloween this year, October the 31st. It'll be on a Thursday afternoon, from what I've been hearing. It'll be Crown Jewel as well. It seems like Super Showdown, even though Super Showdown last year was down under in Australia in October, then they had Evolution, the first ever all-women's pay-per-view last October 2018. Super Showdown will be the spring pay-per-view over in Saudi Arabia. Spring, early summer. It was early June this year. And then Crown Jewel will be the late October, early November pay-per-view for the WWE. And then Survivor Series. And then TLC. And then Royal Rumble rolls around. Also in another baseball stadium this upcoming year, Minute Maid Park down in Houston, Texas. And then we'll be on the road to WrestleMania. Road to WrestleMania 36 next year down in Tampa, Florida at Raymond James Stadium, home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Becky Lynch will win. Maybe Ronda Rousey comes out. We haven't seen her in quite a while. They're trying to get ratings up. There's been some talk about her potentially coming back. Like I said, only time's going to tell. We'll have to find out and see. And then Charlotte will defeat Trish. Ember will defeat Bayley. And then potentially Charlotte, Bayley for number one contendership for Ember Moon's SmackDown Live Women's title at that point. Charlotte Ember, Bayley Ember, maybe a triple threat at Clash of Champions in Charlotte, North Carolina, next month, middle of September the 15th. Up next, Goldberg and Dolph Ziggler. We've sort of known about this for a couple weeks now, because Ziggler was name dropping them on both Raw and SmackDown for about the past month. And I mean, it makes sense by the WWE. It is a good move by them to bring Goldberg back, in their eyes at least, I guess, just because of his match versus The Undertaker at Super Showdown back on June the 7th over in Saudi Arabia. That match was awful. Just absolute awful. Don't even bother watching it. It was awful. So what they're trying to do, bring Goldberg back, have fans remember him by his last match, if he goes away for a while again. His last match at that point would be this upcoming Sunday versus Dolph Ziggler. People will remember that, not his match versus The Undertaker. Like I said, it makes sense. He's a big draw. Everybody popped on Monday night down in Pittsburgh in attendance when I was there, when he came out to Dolph Ziggler on Miz TV. It was Miz TV with your host, The Miz, #1 talk show in the WWE. Then the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, came out. So I saw HBK on Monday night as well. Then Ziggler came out. It was a contract signing as well. Miz had said to Ziggler, they're best friends in real life too, by the way, if you did not know. They're actually going to have a match now next Monday night on Raw. They'll go back to their old stomping grounds to do that, just because they've fought time and time again up on the main roster against one another the past however many years it's been that they've both been up there together. Hell, I think I said something about Ms. and Mrs. earlier, or on another episode of Gridiron Ring just recently, or it might have been a live stream. Hell, Dolph Ziggler was on an episode of Ms. and Mrs. It would have been filmed like last football season when the Browns finally won a damn football game. But anyways, enough with that. It was a contract signing. Miz had said, well, Dolph, you didn't read the fine print. Yes, you'll be having a match on Sunday, but it's not going to be against me. And then Shawn Michaels was also out in the ring, and then he got on the mic and said, well, Dolph, it's not me either. And then by that point, Goldberg chants out the ass. Goldberg came out, and what you didn't see on TV, you'll see in the video that I have right here on the channel, so go check it out. It'll be the last upload from the Raw in Pittsburgh this past week, the Go Home Monday Night Raw for SummerSlam this upcoming weekend. But Goldberg came out. Ziggler had, like I said, you'll see everything in the video. He had shoved everything out of the ring, and then they just had the camera on Dolph the whole entire time, if you're watching live on TV, because I did go back and watch it on the DVR. But Goldberg then was in the ring, got the pen, got the paper, signed the contract, and said, Dolph Ziggler, guess what, son? You're next. So Goldberg clearly going to go over versus Dolph Ziggler on Sunday, even though Dolph should win. But WWE, you know damn well they're going to have Goldberg defeat Dolph Ziggler on Sunday at SummerSlam. Ziggler will make Goldberg look good. And as I just said there, WWE making the right move, in their eyes at least, to have Goldberg come back. And if this is in fact his last match ever, or if he goes away for a while once again, this is what people will remember him by, not his match versus The Undertaker, which once again was awful at Super Showdown back on June 7th. So Goldberg is my pick to defeat Dolph Ziggler on Sunday at SummerSlam. Up next, about 4 or 5 matches left, so thanks for sticking around. Like, follow, and subscribe to Gridiron Ring and myself, Coolhand Luke96, on social media. Finn Balor and The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, will do battle on Sunday at SummerSlam. Bray's clearly going to go over in this match. It'd be stupid as hell if he did not. Now, unless they had Balor come out as the Demon, which I highly doubt that's going to happen, just because Bray is clearly over. I mean, hell, he's attacked how many legends the past month or so on Raw. And then the next night on SmackDown, he'll be doing an episode of Firefly Funhouse acting like nothing happened the night before, which is totally awesome. So, Bray Wyatt clearly going to defeat Finn Balor, unfortunately. Because, I mean, if this was Bray Wyatt, I mean, I'm a big Bray Wyatt guy, but if this was Bray Wyatt, you know, like a couple years ago, and he's facing off versus Finn Balor at a pay-per-view in the WWE, and it's regular Finn Balor and regular Bray Wyatt, I'm probably going to take Balor, because then the next pay-per-view, Balor might be in a championship match against somebody. You know, I don't know, though. Maybe Bray Wyatt will be getting a championship match in the future now, if he does, in fact, defeat Balor on Sunday. And I think he will. Like I said, he's clearly over. Firefly Funhouse with everybody, The Fiend. It's just a totally different, you know, type of, I don't even know if you would want to say gimmick, but it's just totally different than what we've ever seen in the WWE before, in my eyes at least. So everybody has their own opinions. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about Bray Wyatt right now with Firefly Funhouse and The Fiend, him attacking some superstars, and also what you think of my NXT TakeOver Toronto and SummerSlam predictions so far up to this point, and for the final 4 matches now, and then let me know who you guys are picking for this upcoming weekend down in the comments below as well. So give me Bray Wyatt over Finn Balor. Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon, the prizefighter KO, will go head-to-head with the Best in the World 2019 Shane O'Mac, and if Kevin Owens loses, he must quit WWE. Stupid stipulation. What's probably going to happen, I'm going to pick Owens to defeat McMahon, okay? But what's probably going to happen, Shane's going to win. Because I don't know if you guys watched SmackDown this past week. I caught on commentary, I believe it was Corey Graves that said that if Owens loses on Sunday, this will be his last appearance on SmackDown Live. So normally, you know, they lose, they're supposed to quit. They'll be done on the one brand and then go to the other. So what's probably going to happen, Shane's going to win. Shane will stay on SmackDown. Owens quits, in quotes, WWE, because he must quit if he loses on Sunday, and then he'll show up on Raw the next night, because they'll still be in Toronto for Raw and SmackDown next week regardless. He'll be getting a big pop on Sunday night and on Raw or SmackDown, whatever show he's going to be on next week then at that point. But I'm going to pick Owens to defeat Shane, but what's probably going to happen, Shane will win. Get a lot of heel heat for that as well, because Owens is from Canada. You know, big pop, everything, you know, along those lines. It just makes sense. You know, and knowing Vince, he's going to have Shane win more than likely, even though Owens should win. Kevin Owens is absolutely the best, one of the best, I should say, if not the best. In my eyes, he's the best, but everybody has their own opinions. Owens is the best superstar in general WWE has right now. Wrestling, promo, just everything as a whole. Kevin Owens is fucking awesome. And that's the bottom line, because I said so. A lot of people were relating Kevin Owens right now, comparing him to the one and only Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I figured I'd throw that in there. Up next, a couple championship matches. WWE Championship on the line, United States Championship on the line, and the WWE Universal Championship will be on the line as well on Sunday at SummerSlam. First WWE title, Kofi Kingston will defend versus the Viper, Randy Orton, and I think it'd be best for business there. Kofi's been WWE champ since WrestleMania, getting a little tiring there as well. I think it'd be best to take the title off of him, Both these superstars are on SmackDown. WWE Championship's going to be on SmackDown, moving into the new SmackDown deal on Fox. More people, wrestling fans or not, know who Randy Orton is, more so compared to Kofi Kingston. Have Randy Orton defeat Kofi on Sunday at SummerSlam, and have Orton be the WWE champion moving into the SmackDown deal on Fox, when SmackDown will be live on Friday nights on Fox starting October the 4th. AEW will start 2 nights before that on TNT. AEW All Elite Wrestling, don't know what the TV show is going to be called yet, they still haven't announced that, but that will be October the 2nd in Washington, D.C. Following Wednesday up in Boston. Following Wednesday after that, first 3 Wednesdays they already have announced, it'll be Washington, D.C., Boston, Massachusetts, and then Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And tickets are on sale for those already. So Orton will defeat Kofi, I do believe, at SummerSlam on Sunday. And this feud dates back about 10, 11, 12 years. And, Orton went over then. Orton will probably go over again here this upcoming weekend. Just because, like I said, more people know Randy Orton than they do Kofi Kingston. And plus, Orton hasn't had a title run in like 5-6 years. So give him, it'd be 13 or 14 time WWE champion at that point, I think. So if I'm mistaken on that, if I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments below. But Randy Orton will defeat Kofi Kingston on Sunday at SummerSlam. AJ Styles and the one and only Ricochet will battle it out for the United States Championship. So the Phenomenal One and the one and only U.S. title on the line. This match will be the best match of the night. AJ Styles and Ricochet will tear the house down to basically close out the summer in the WWE. SummerSlam actually a week earlier this year than what it normally is. It's normally the 3rd weekend in August. It'd be next weekend if it was last year or any other year, but they bumped it up a year. So it's this weekend, the 10th and 11th, compared to the 17th and 18th. But AJ, he'll retain. Ricochet, I wouldn't be surprised if he does get the U.S. title back. He won it at Stomping Grounds, held it until Extreme Rules. That's when AJ won. AJ's had it for about a month now. I really wouldn't care if Ricochet did win or if AJ retained, but I'm prediction-wise going to pick AJ to retain. Just because I like Styles a little bit better. In my opinion, AJ Styles is the best wrestler in the world, and Ricochet is the best athlete WWE has. Maybe one of the best athletic wrestlers in the world as well, I'll say that. So I really wouldn't mind, with really whoever won, but I'm going to pick AJ to defeat Ricochet. And then in the main event, more than likely, unless they have Goldberg main event against Dolph Ziggler, which would make no sense. Co-main event I get, or maybe even kicking off the show, that'd be fine. But Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate himself, the current Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar will defend his Universal Championship versus the Beast Slayer, the Architect, the King Slayer, the nickname master himself, Seth frickin' Rollins. And like I said just a minute ago, the past 2 weeks on Raw, Lesnar has stood tall over Rollins, beat down Rollins 2 straight weeks. Normally when you stand tall, you lose at the following pay-per-view, which would be SummerSlam this upcoming weekend. Are they going to have Lesnar lose? Highly doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised though. I wouldn't mind Ricochet winning, and I wouldn't mind AJ winning, going back to the U.S. title there. I wouldn't mind Rollins getting the Universal title back, but I wouldn't mind Lesnar keeping it and retaining over Rollins on Sunday at SummerSlam. Thing is, more people, going back to Randy Orton and Kofi, more people know who Brock Lesnar is compared to Seth Rollins, wrestling fan or not. New Fox deal, I know Monday Night Raw is still going to be on Mondays on the USA Network, but Lesnar, who knows? could appear on SmackDown that night. He's a former SmackDown superstar. He's Brock Lesnar, for God's sakes. You don't really need to say more. So Lesnar, he'll retain. He'll continue being Universal Champion moving forward. His schedule, who the hell knows what it's like? I mean, he'll be around when he's around, basically. The thing is, if they put it on Rollins, he's going to be there, all the time, every week, and that's what people want. So I wouldn't mind if Lesnar kept it. I wouldn't mind if Rollins got it back. But what will probably end up happening, and I'm going to pick Lesnar because of it, Lesnar will retain and continue being champion on Monday Night Raw as the Universal Champion. So, yeah, Lesnar, a little bit unfortunate, but, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. But normally when you stand tall, you lose. So, sometimes that's the, key. That's what happens. But sometimes not. It just depends. But those are my NXT TakeOver Toronto and SummerSlam predictions. Couple key matches or titles not being defended. Yeah, it is the biggest event of the summer. It's basically the WrestleMania of the summertime for the WWE. Other than, Royal Rumble and Survivor Series for WWE, SummerSlam is the second biggest pay-per-view of the year behind WrestleMania. There is no Raw or SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship match, as I said earlier. No Women's Tag Team Championship match as well, even though they had that this past week on Raw. I think that's why they bumped it up a little bit. We had new Women's Tag Champs crowned. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are your new Women's Tag Champions. 24/7 title will probably get involved one way or another. No Intercontinental Championship match. We had that at Smackville a couple weeks ago. That 1 hour house show network exclusive special on the WWE Network. Shinsuke Nakamura was supposed to face Finn Balor, and then it ended up being Nakamura and Ali. OC, the original, the official, and the only club that matters. Obviously a shot towards the Bullet Club. The OC, Gallows and Anderson, along with AJ Styles. As Styles is U.S. champion right now. Gallows and Anderson, Raw Tag Champions. They're not defending those on Sunday unless they add it, after this recording, before Sunday. New Day, they're the SmackDown Live Tag Champs. Those aren't being defended either. Aleister Black hasn't done absolute shit since Extreme Rules. He defeated Cesaro then, but literally hasn't done anything since. As I said, Baron Corbin hasn't been around in a couple weeks. We'll have to see what the deal is with him, when he'll be coming back, and what type of feud he'll be getting into. Braun Strowman did not even appear on Raw this past week, but then the previous couple weeks before that, he's just been in squash matches. So once again, it looks like WWE doesn't know what they want to do with him. They want to push him, or just, hold him steady for right now and just hold him back and not give him a championship opportunity like he deserves. And then, they did an Elias concert at the Smackville special as well, so I highly doubt that. Some of these guys might get involved backstage promo-wise, but 10 matches is fine. Because you have, say, 15 matches, 16, 17, 18 matches like you would, at a WrestleMania. Well, hell, that's why the show's 6, 7, 8 hours long. The kickoff pre-show is going to start at 5 on Sunday. SummerSlam is probably not going to be over till 11, 11:30 midnight Sunday night, early Monday morning. Which, sometimes, yeah, it's a little too long, but more wrestling is good. But at the same time, it's like, okay, we just need to hold it back and just keep what we got. Because we're going to have more shows, obviously, afterwards. So they'll save some stuff for Clash of Champions and Hell in a Cell and, everything else moving into the fall now. The big thing, though, that I think they haven't announced, that they might just announce Sunday afternoon sometime, is with Roman Reigns, the big dog himself. It seems like somebody's out to get him. Somebody's trying to kill his ass because basically 2 weeks ago now on SmackDown, he had stuff fall on him when he was walking backstage. And then this past week on Monday Night Raw, he was getting out of his car and literally got blindsided. And literally almost got taken out. So whether it was a hit or what, I don't know. It was obviously planned. Like, you can see that clear as day, but it's just interesting, to see really who's behind it. Is it Buddy Murphy? Is it Rowan? Is it Daniel Bryan? Is it Samoa Joe? Those are the four clear-cut options, four clear-cut favorites to choose from. It's probably going to be Daniel Bryan, because they were going to have Daniel Bryan's big announcement, and then they sort of backed away from that. He hasn't done anything with that since. But then in the meantime, Roman's, getting attacked, getting literally taken out. Like I said, it seems like there's an assassin out there trying to kill him. So we'll see what happens. Maybe some type of promo or a backstage segment, or maybe something outside again. Him arriving to the arena, something happening, something along those lines, just to keep it going after SummerSlam, to have it be the fall feud for Roman Reigns over on SmackDown, to get people to tune in to SmackDown once they move over to Fox on Friday nights. So it'll be interesting to see, but if they add one or two matches to the show, I'll be alright with it. It's just going to depend on what it is, and they do this all the time, though. They always have the card set in stone and then add a couple more, later on in the week after Raw and SmackDown before the actual pay-per-view that upcoming weekend. So, yeah, once again, those are my NXT TakeOver Toronto and SummerSlam 2019 predictions. Thank you guys for listening. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Gridiron Ring and myself, Coolhand Luke 96, on social media. Links are in the description below. Keep an eye out for my college and NFL football videos about to come out here in the next couple weeks. And also be sure to tune in live over on Periscope, Coolhand Luke 96, on Saturday and Sunday for live reactions, play-by-play of WWE NXT TakeOver Toronto and SummerSlam. And as I said, let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of this video. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe as well, and let me know who you guys are picking for TakeOver Toronto and SummerSlam. What are your predictions? And be sure to vote on the question of the day this upcoming Saturday and Sunday, and let me know who you think will win those matches at TakeOver and SummerSlam this weekend. Once again, thanks for listening. I'm Coolhand Luke 96. Like, follow, and subscribe to Gridiron Ring and myself, Coolhand Luke 96, on social media. That's GridRing18, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe right here on YouTube, and follow me over on Periscope and Twitter, Coolhand Luke 96.